Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 80. And in this one, we're going to talk a little bit about Shade Split and kind of show you the impact of that skill. Still, even though it got nerfed in the last patch, it still is pretty insane to see how much difference, how big of a difference the damage is just from that one skill. And I'm going to show it on my Paladin. And then we're going to showcase Pathfinder. I know in the Discord last week, I did a poll on which archer wanted to showcase, and majority or the winner was Pathfinder. So we finally got some content to show you guys at the end. Ben Wong, the GOAT, Pathfinder, peer pressured him into sharing his content. So you definitely want to stick around for that one. Full 60. I think he has a weapon. I'm not sure, but Cap is insane. And we're going to kind of break it down and showcase what Pathfinder is all about. And then obviously if you follow Geminis Gaming, he as well has Pathfinder content. He's leveling one up and gearing one up and doing content with that. So you definitely want to check out his channel as well for like kind of maybe the middle tier of Pathfinder, where he's still doing normal Damien, he's still doing all the endgame content, but just not at the peak. So it kind of gives you two different perspectives. So that's great. Pathfinders are pretty cool, pretty fun, and I've just kind of been going on the trending in the right direction as far as DPS finally, after kind of a year plus maybe prior where they were sort of neglected. So that would be at the end. We'll talk about Shade Splits in a bit, but first I want to talk about the Discord channel real quick about how, the whale tier. We got more members coming in, appreciate them, but they are, one of the things that I found out that people are, if you're interested in, if you're a whale player, someone that's a new player, someone that is investing in the game and really wants to maximize their resources, right? I think the whale tier or just joining the Discord in general is a great place to be, because a lot of the times markets and a lot of the time gear pricing fluctuates and it can be very overwhelming. And there are people out there, and I see a lot of it, that like you see a new whale coming out, people are trying to take advantage. People are trying to get the maximum profit, overprice things, and people don't know any better. So we had this one guy join, and it helped him a lot, just sort of getting my input, getting other people's inputs about pricing, how much things are going to cost, just to, if it saves him here and there, it's a win, right? And so if that's something that you're interested in, or, you want to learn more about the market on pricing on gear, you definitely want to join the Discord and use me as a resource, because he was asking me about everything and anything pricing, and I was telling him what I thought was worth it or what wasn't, and, helped him a ton. But yeah, the Discord channel is a great resource for sure. Almost 400 people are now in the channel. So join for free. Check out the link in the description and join the club. All right, so the main thing I want to talk about in this podcast was Shade Split. And I think it's one of those skills, right? Last week, I talked about ignore enemy defense and how impactful that has been to DPS. Shade Split, to my surprise, is arguably just as or more impactful. And even with the nerf, it still has skyrocketed my DPS. And especially in shorter fights, classes that have big burst as well, it is just insane for their damage as well. Obviously, Paladins are in that category, but for any class really, if you compare things with the defense match 4 and your split, the DPS is insane. So we'll jump into that in the show, but first I want to talk about what Shade Split is, right? If you don't know what it is, it's a 4-job skill where essentially the wording is weird, but you get 30% additional damage, right? Before it used to be a second clone where the best classes that would benefit would be able to bounce their damage back and forth, like Ice Lightning mages and stuff like that would really thrive with split. But now it's essentially the clone still shows up as like an indicator of the skill being available or being up, but it's just extra damage, 30% extra damage. So essentially 30% extra cap is what it is if you're capping all your lines, obviously. But 10-second duration, 30% damage, and it's the reapply is 180 seconds. So this is one of the biggest changes, and you can time leap it, right? But I'm not exactly sure, and I don't think like you can just time leap back to back within 45 seconds, right? I think where it does benefit, like I'll show you my gameplay in Lotus or like in Damien, if you time leap, if you split in phase 1, you time leap, and then you have it back up for phase 2, it is treated like a completely different boss. It doesn't have the same cooldown. So it allows you to time leap, it allows you to split in phase 1 and phase 2 within this 3-minute time frame. So sneaky good, but that's only, I'm pretty sure it's only if you are going from phase to phase. So like in Damien, like in Lucid, right? Phase 1 to phase 2, it has to be time leaped in order to do that. Damien, phase 1 to phase 2, and then Lotus, you can actually, it allows you phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 if the fight is long enough, right? So that is something that is underrated, that it still has value currently with the meta of how fast bosses are being cleared. But in longer fights, the value kind of diminishes because of this cooldown, right? And you obviously cannot, other two classes with split cannot do that, because I think this used to be like a 30 or 40 second cooldown. So you could have one shade split, 30 seconds, could split again, and so on and so forth, kind of alternating. But this one, huge, big difference, right? So that's why it's been nerfed, especially in like solo content versus shades as well. But I have some gameplay here for Lotus, and I want to show you this because it is identical to my, like, it's a great representation of kind of what DPS is like out there. All right, so here's my Lotus run. 2 weeks ago, 729, 206 build DPM, right? You see 420 time of fight, pretty good peaks, similar. And then this is going to be my new personal best. This is with shade split. So the reason I want to showcase this was because my previous PR was without shade. This one was with the shade. Pretty much the same team. And you'll see the DPS is 248. So 40 bill, over 40 bill damage, so about 20% more damage. Just, difference, PR. And there are a few other factors in this run where I think my cap 2 weeks ago was 50.7, and this one is 50.9, and this one is 51.7. So decent amount, big difference there, and you'll see it kind of in the numbers, but you're going to see that cap difference is not like as impactful as you think. So right here, I'm going to kind of show side by side, and unfortunately the split view was funky. It kind of cut off the screen, so I did it this. So the big screen is the old run, the lowest PR, and then the top right corner is the new personal best. And I wanted to pause it right here because for all those people that play Paladin or any class, I'm going to show you just right off the bat how impactful it is to get your attacks in ASAP. So for my Paladin here, right, I try to get off the mount a little bit early. Maybe not. So like you'll see right here how much damage I already did in the top right corner. You can't even see that. But like it's already at 11 bill right here, 7 bill. So just getting a few attacks in right at the start, especially for duration-based classes like Paladins, every second counts, right? And you'll notice it adds up real quick. And so I'm going to pause it right here. So once I finally got all my burst in, so I just used my V3 on both of them. They just came off a cooldown. So I did 131 here, and then in the top right is about 160, right? It's kind of hard to see, but that's a significant difference, right? So right off the bat, just a burst. This is just from split, right? Nothing really changed that much, maybe a few attacks in here or there, but that is a big difference just in the first 15 seconds. right? Just because of shade split. And you'll see, I don't know if you saw, but the lines were 52 mil plus versus I think 38. So 14 mil difference per line for my burst adds up a ton. Right? So you can see the top run and across the board, right? The top run is just doing more DPS overall. Right? So like everyone is doing more damage. Second, third, fourth. And so right here, the first minute, I'm at 310 versus what, 350 plus, right? So 40 bill difference in the first minute. Basically identical runs. Pretty insane to see, right? So that's a lot of damage difference. You could say 10, 15%, but in a short period of time for burst, that's 10, 50% now is, look, that's like 40, 50 bill, right? And it looks like at the bottom in phase one. So the PR, time of fight, obviously mattered, right? You can see in the faster run, right? So right here, same time, but we just 90 seconds versus like what, 75 seconds difference. And that's pretty crucial because in the faster run, right, I'm actually going to be able to clear phase two before Echo, right before Echo comes up. So actually I'm able to mount up in the top right corner between the transition and save me a few seconds. Not a huge difference, but those add up, right? So I tried to mount up here so that, you know, a few seconds, like 1 to 2 seconds weren't wasted. And I don't know what I'm doing here, but didn't mount up. So it wasn't really that big of a difference because it took me a while to get started. But in the old record, right, a few seconds are ticking off between the transitions and things like that. But again, able to use my burst earlier. And here's shade split in the top right corner. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, so I wasn't able to get my V3 up with shade split, but obviously all these blast attacks are hitting much harder and doing more damage, and that is kind of why I'm doing significantly more damage too, right? So it's pretty insane to see. And the nice part was both runs, we had platforms right off the bat, so I was able to stun. We didn't have any purple orb phases, so we were basically doing full uptime. And you can see right here, right? Even though the first run is going to be faster by about 45 seconds, you can see about 3 minutes in, this is the ideal, kind of the maximum peaks of Paladins. My old PR was about 672, and this one is about 780, 80 plus, right? So over 3 minutes, that's what, 40 bill DPM difference. I think it was 260 something versus 222, right? So again, 20% difference. 20% difference. Shade split. May not be all of it, but that's about right. If it's 15 to 20%, kind of, especially in this 3 minute window, right, where you're getting maximum value, that adds up. That is huge, just from one skill. One skill that's up, that we used, what, 3 times in this run? Pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. And so the top right, we're going to finish it off right here. Obviously, 864, right? So 864 compared to 735. Again, huge difference. 125 bill difference in the runs. And this is across the board. Look, Intusha did 150 bill more damage. We had some other players here as well do well, but you can just see like the damage across the board is higher, 10. And if it's 10%, like, right, for me, if everyone's getting 10, 15% better, the more damage you do, the higher your cap, the more impactful that's going to be, right? 14 mil line difference for your burst is insane, right? So this bottom run is going to take a little bit longer, right? You can see, and time of fight does matter, right? I'm not gonna like overlook it, because especially for paladins, where I'm doing barely any damage right now in this time frame, so my DPS is gonna suffer. I think more things just happen, right? Moving around more, get knocked back more, like possibility of dying, purple orb phase, like there's just more possibilities. Like people died here, takes a little bit longer, back-to-back stuns, or back-to-back lightning electrocution phase. And it just, your DPS can be dependent on the rest of your team. If you have a good team, the runs are faster, things like that, right? So 890, the 890 bill in 45 seconds more, right? Insane, right? So this is just a one run, a snippet of what the possibilities could be if you just had a shade, and why shades are still very valuable in runs like this. So it's just an alt shade too, right? That still can provide value. So right here, you're going to see the results by the numbers, right? And the main thing you want to look at is the peaks, right? The peaks here are huge. And you see 350 bill plus for that first minute versus 306. And then again, in that third minute, 350 bill versus 272. So that is 80 bill difference in that third minute, and a 45 bill difference in that first minute. That's over 100 something bill right there, right? 140 bill right there. Now you can see that the second minute and the third minute are my older PR was actually higher, but that was because, phase one took a little bit longer. In our PR run, we were transitioning between phase one and phase two, and then phase two and phase three during this second minute window, right? So I'm not doing any uptime, any DPS, but the value is way more valuable here, having full uptime here, right? And then we're going to look at kind of the breakdown in the numbers even more of each skill. And this is where it kind of gets, you can see the results, right? So the main one that you want to look at is, for Paladin specifically, is our V3. And so you want to look at straight up here, two uses, both, right? 208 bill, average of 43 per line, 43 mil per line. And the old one is 173, right? The line counts are about the same, but it's 36 mil lines average, right? So each line is hitting 7 mil difference. So that's why it's 35 bill plus difference. And that adds up, right? Obviously, that by itself is 10 bill DPM over a 3-minute fight. And then you can just see our V4, Mighty Mjolnir, does another 30 bill difference. Hammers of Righteousness, just, you can see the max lines are just hitting a little bit, are hitting 52 mil. But the average lines are higher as well. So if every average line is hitting more, just the damage adds up. And this is for every skill. And so that is just one kind of example of why Shade Split can be valuable. Longer fights, again, it's going to fall off. It's not going to have as much of an impact. Shorter fights, it's going to be way more impactful, right? You saw just that first minute, I did 50 bill more DPM in this first minute, right? If it was a 1-minute fight, shoot. That right there, 40 bill, 50 bill, right? 45 bill, just the first minute. So pretty insane to see, right? And I kind of didn't really fully understand still how impactful a Shade Split was until I actually ran with a shade, right? I knew it was very good still, but just to see this, the 14, and the biggest thing for me is the 14 mil, almost 14 mil lines more in that 10-second window. So if you can put all of your burst in that 10-second window, oof, yeah, that is a ton. That's, like I said, that could be 40, 50, the more caps, 60, 70, 80 bill more damage if you do it right. Pair that with Defense Smash 4, look out, right? And in any content, that adds up. That adds up. So it's, I just want to share with you guys kind of this. This is kind of what I do. I look side by side, kind of compare DPS, how can I improve? And it didn't feel like the run was any different, right? The run was obviously faster, but my gameplay was almost identical. But the results, 20% more damage, speaks for itself. Huge. And 20% from 200 to almost 250, that looks way like a much bigger jump. A much bigger jump. It's pretty cool to see. Right? So, I mean, get yourself a shade, find yourself a shade. Shades still have impact, still have value, especially in these shorter fights where you can use it back to back with time leap and things like that. 3-4 minute fight, the best value, obviously. So let me know in the comments what kind of results you guys have seen as well. This is just one boss or another. I haven't even tested it even farther than this, but obviously this is insanity. This is insanity. All right, so we're back, and the showcase of the Archer Pathfinder, the GOAT, Path 404, Ben Wong, was very kind enough, and I appreciate him for doing this, for recording and sharing his gameplay. And this is like gold for you guys, right? He did Damien, Lucid, and Culvert. So we're going to see all three. The peak of the power, you can see the CPU right here, 1.7 bill. And I mean, this is as good as it gets. I've never watched this yet, so I'm kind of reacting to you for you guys. I wanted to save it and just see what it's like kind of firsthand. I sped this run up a bit, 1.25 times, but yeah. Shade splits up already, 57 mil lines. You can see that right there. And here comes Tempest. Here comes the burst. Sheesh, guns for Panda. Sheesh. But you can see they are just taking off. He's just taking off right there. And Pathfinder burst. No surprise. Wiped it out. Insane. But you see the mobility is pretty good there. Got some good dashes. I think one of the issues, and I know I was watching Geminis' video, is that the survivability isn't that great. But look at the peak of the power, the top of the DPS charts, with the best gear, 311k HP, pretty tanky, right? And you can see he's already pulling away insane damage-wise. And he labeled this one as no shade, no paladin. So, like I talked about before, if he had a shade, his burst would be even more insane. And yeah, look at him. He's just popping off. He's pulling away huge right now. And Guns for Panda is a Night Lord. So this is where they sort of fall off when their cooldowns aren't there. But you'll see, right? Even when the 2-minute mark comes, Guns for Panda is going to do huge DPS. That orb following him right there. Looks like he's waiting for Defense Smash 4 for his Tempest here. Or his Raven, I think. There it is. There's Defense Smash 4. And look at that right there. So good. So good. Used it. Maximum value right there on the burst. And I wish we could have seen what his numbers are. Like the raw numbers in real time. But yeah. They are absolutely cranking. And he is absolutely cranking. The skills are sick too. I love that you can actually see the transparency of the animations and the skills. The damage skin works. The damage skin works. I'm with it. Just fits the vibe perfectly. It's pretty sick. Tornadoes here. Just a pro. Just a pro. He has his burst back up. Defense Smash 4 right there. Stunned on the World Tree. Huge. Got Defense Smash 4. Got his burst up. Came back down. Well played. Sheesh. That's as good as it gets right there. Yeah. This is a good run. I know he DM'd me and said he messed up a little bit, but I don't know. Skills are sick too. Just so cool. And look, I just love like just turn around and whack from far range. Go crazy with it. He doesn't even get to use his Tempest one more time. If he had like 10 more seconds, his DPS could have went up even more right there. But let's see. 1100. Sheesh. So he tried to hide it. Let me see for you guys. 1109 in a 440. Let's do some calculations real quick for all the peeps out there. Divide 4.66666. 237. And like he said no shade, no paladin. So he has no synchro and he has no shade split. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. No shade, no paladin, no boss rush again, like he mentioned, and 237. Yikes. Holy. Yeah. I mean, Pathfinders are exactly what you'd imagine them to be, right? They're just monsters. Like their skills are turrets. They're called turrets, and that's exactly what they are. They just crank DPS. They do a ton of damage. Not the best burst. I mean, not the best survivability, obviously. But yeah. Yeah. Love the skills. Skills are sick. I mean, he's getting good heals from his bishop anyways. Yeah. We're gonna see some good stuff here. There you go. Put fair trade on. Just go crazy with it. Tempest. Perfect. Damn, placed that so well. I think one of the hard parts is you could miss that Tempest right there. The boss can move, but he played that perfectly with the stun, with defense match 4. His team is love, man. Just quality. Nice cleanse there. They're going to get the dragon for sure because they cleansed right there. Sick. Dragon, here comes dragon, yeah. So he already knows dragon's coming, so he's got to go down. If he had a paladin here, that would have been prime, just to synchro him. But, oh, unfortunately, yeah, that was unfortunate. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to get, oh, burst ups here, crazy. Dang, guns for Panda, keeping up. They got the cleanse again. They're going to get lasers here. Oh, nice little bubble. Oh. With shell up for this bomb here. Wonder if anyone dies. Nope, just defuse the whole thing. I need to go back to that. We were having questions with that real quick. The shell just defused the whole thing? Yeah. Maybe iframe right there, just diffused all of it. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, they're no minigame here, it looks like, unless they get it right here. Nope. They might get minigame. Yeah, I think they're going to get it. Nope. Nice. No minigame there. So finishing it off right here. And into phase 3. Man, is he cranking. That cap is insane. Sick. That skill is sick right there. With his weapon. Sick. Love to see that. With the little silhouette. Yeah, crushed it. Oh, he did boss rush for this, sorry. He does have boss rush there. Let's see what he did. Caught it. See how quick that was? 1040, 1041. So let's just say 4 minutes. 1041 divided by 4. 260. Yeah. So if they had a shade for sure, he'd be in the 3 bills. 300 club easy. 260 is still insane though. Oof. I'm more impressed by the Damien for sure. The Damien is way more impressive to me. But this is the true test of what Pathfinders are all about. You know, some people think it's team content, but Covert is that, because it's a consistent 3-minute fight, kind of is a way to balance everything out, right? Keep everything, an equal playing field per se. Kind of just stand, do your rotation, and it's more impactful, right? Use this burst right there, defense smash 4. And you can kind of see the impact of having good pairing with defense smash 4 and using your burst at the right times is way more just valuable. So love to see it. I want to thank Ben Wong again for sharing this. I mean, you guys are so lucky to see this. Like, if you want to see what class is next and maybe showcase someone that's at the top of the game, definitely join the Discord and join in on the polls. We're going to do a new class next week as well. And, people have been reaching out with classes. People have been sharing guildies or people that they know that have content. Send it my way, right? Send it my way. I'd love to see it, whether it gets showcased here or not. I still love to watch it, the content, and learn more about the classes, right? So thank you, Ben Wong, everyone else that voted, that has shared their content as well. I can't wait to see more Hayato, which I've been seeing, just more classes, more content in general, more people posting. So I'd love to see it. Share it with me. I'll find it. And yeah, keep it coming. But you can see right here, I don't know what is going on with the iframes and stuff though, but it doesn't look like he's taking a lot of damage, I didn't really pay attention too much about that. I was just looking at, puts the bubble down too. Interesting. Wonder if he needs all that percent stats. But yeah, Tempest right there one last time, I think. Yeah. Ooh, too slow. 49.8. Sandbagged. He sandbagged. That was a 50 piece for sure. 50 piece for sure. Pathfinders. At the peak of its power. The best of the best. Still more room to grow again if they had a shade in those Magnus. The Damien and the Lucid runs. Paladins for Synchro. But look out. Pathfinders are insane. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Next week, patch notes. Commander Will is out. Maybe more stuff is going to be dropped. Hopefully more stuff comes out. And we'll go over it all next week. Patch notes, maybe some Will stuff. Just everything. Excited. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.